Derek, we've got to start with the weekend. I've just been telling you how many people have viewed the post-match interview on BBC Radio Lancashire. It was from the heart stuff from you. We could hear the emotion in your voice. How do you reflect on that? And if you had the chance over, would you do anything differently?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a very productive meeting with the co-chairman Rod Taylor and Graham House, and I think that was important because Graham and Rod, over the years have committed many years of time and effort running this football club, through difficult circumstances, and all the staff and supporters are extremely appreciative of that. They've been well supported with Mick Horton, James Wakefield, Charlie Appleyard, and they mentor different areas in the football club as well. Rob Smith's been taken in as general manager, and he's been taken in to look at all the aspects of the football club that he can reduce costs and increase revenue. And from me, my interview on Saturday was frustrated, but also it was very passionate about this football club because it means a lot to me, and I shared the reasons for it with the co-chairman on Tuesday. Firstly, I was unaware that they both spoke at a radio programme on Friday and discussed the club's plans. I would like to say all of us are telling the truth in this matter. As the co-chairman alluded to during the radio interview, the club has a plan for next season, but they haven't shared that with me yet. And we are still waiting for a football budget to be signed off by the owner, Jason Whittingham. So that's where we are at this moment in time, and that's how the meeting, concluded.
Is it surprising to you that these plans have been formulated and put in place, but you were in a position where we were putting a live microphone in front of your mouth and you didn't know about them?
Yes, I haven't seen the plans yet, so I can't comment on them, but and I didn't know about the radio interview on Friday.
So if there is a plan but you're not party to it, does that make it quite difficult for you to do your job? Because we're here to talk about the final game of the season. There will be a lot of decisions need to be made if they haven't already been made. How difficult is it without that clear detail, even though that detail has been put in place, for you to make those decisions?
Well, that's what I was alluding to at the time. It's extremely difficult because as a football manager, I'm in charge of a lot of football players. I've got staff as well to look at. We've got contracts to offer in the coming weeks, and we've got a period of time to do that. And it doesn't give the football manager a lot of time to work out how we're going to use the finances whenever we get them going forward.
How do you go about that process then? Because I think traditionally you would perhaps play your last game of the season, have the players in on Monday or whatever and have meetings and make contract offers and talk to them about their futures. Are you able to do that at this point?
I can do that. I will do that come Monday because that's my process as a football manager. I've got my plans and how I see things going forward, but the football club don't have a budget at this moment in time going forward.
How much is this affected by a takeover that continues to wait in the wings? I think it would be fair to say we are waiting for more news to happen there. Is this dependent on that takeover going through when those final finances can be?
I don't think it's dependent on that. I think that what it is that the football club has to decide how much it can afford to spend on the new season, and we obviously have to wait with the possibility of a takeover as well. But we have been waiting, for over a season now, so we can't continue to just wait and wait. We've got to make a decision at some point, and we've done that.
You and I, Derek, have spoken about footballers, coaches, managers. You're just people. I'm interested just in the human element of this. We heard that emotion from you in that interview. We've seen and heard it a lot this season. I think over your career, I think that's fair to say. Do you ever regret being yourself? Do you ever regret letting the way you feel spill out? Because we see quite a lot of bland post-match interviews, and we don't tend to get that from you. Is that a conscious decision?
No, it's from the heart. It's the way I am, as a person. It affects my job. It affects my career. It affects other people's careers, and it affects this football club, people's decision making. And I've got to deal with that. And I think over the season we've been very candid, and we've been able to be supportive a lot throughout the football club, as the football club have been to us in many respects. But we're just trying to do our best. And for me, there is a lot of football managers that don't want to say much, want to toe the party line, so to speak. But I think that from my point of view, I think, as I spoke about before, we've got to have desire. We've got to have a work ethic to go somewhere, and that's why over the years this football club has been successful.
Just as far as your communication with the supporters, you're one of the people who very often says, I'm talking to my fans when we do these interviews. What would you say to your supporters now ahead of the final game of the season? Large groups of your supporters are extremely unhappy with the takeover situation. People will be unhappy with some of the stuff that you said, whether they're unhappy with what you said or whether they're unhappy with what it revealed. What's your message to your fan base, to your supporters now?
Well, my message to the supporters is always that I've tried to be honest and truthful with them. And I try. Sometimes not everyone will agree with what I say, but it comes from a vision. It comes from having the information that I can have, and it is up to me to speak to supporters. It's up to them to understand the situation we're in, because there's a lot of football clubs that can wash over that situation, and I think it's important as a staff and a playing squad that the supporters understand the difficult circumstances that we have been in. They'll hear about some of it, they won't hear about all of it. And what I will say is they've been extremely loyal to my staff, my players this season, and I can only thank them enough, because it has been a hugely difficult season. We've been extremely close, but we just haven't been good enough.
I asked you a few weeks ago, Derek, about fan frustrations, whether it's formal protests, whether it's sounding your voice from the stands, whatever it may be, and when the right time is for fans to do that. You've got one home game left. When is the right time to do that?
No fan frustration, no fan protest will help the process. It won't make it any quicker. We've heard our supporters chanting games. It's not making it any quicker, because one, the owner and the new owner have to get an agreement in place, and then the EFL have to do that. So the process isn't going to get any quicker. The more frustrated we get, it is hugely frustrating, but it isn't going to help the process.
But you can, to an extent, vent your frustrations in these kind of forums, perhaps in the changing room, perhaps with the players. Is it not only fair that fans vent their frustrations as well?
Without a doubt. All I'm saying is none of our frustrations are going to make it any quicker. It's shown, when I came back to the football club, I was told when I came back on the 3rd of June that it would be 2 or 3 weeks and the club would be sold. So that's a long time.
Just the bigger picture, you've talked about the relegation situation. Have you had a harder season than this?
No, I've never had a harder season, no. I've never been in a transfer embargo twice in a season and not been able to sign players for a period of time. But I've enjoyed working at this football club, and I enjoy working at it on a daily basis. I'm disappointed that we don't have training to come next week. We're not coming into work. The group of players I have had can't give any more. They've done their best, and we've just been able to come up, a bit short this season.
Will you reflect on it once it's over, or given the fact that the relegation has been confirmed, is this a time of reflection?
I think I've reflected throughout the season, and I think that it has been extremely difficult. We have lost too many games, and a lot of them by a close margin, and that's the frustration as well, that we haven't been able to get over the line in a lot of these games.
Would you do anything different if I gave you your time again?
Yeah, I think I would. I'm not going to say what I would do differently, but yeah, I mean, I would do, things differently. I would maybe have, been more outspoken earlier on to inside the building. But I always hoped that we were going to get, into a situation come January that things might change and we might have been able to do things more. It went the other way, and a roadblock was put up that we couldn't sign players.
Just as far as this weekend is concerned, you've still got a game of football to play. Harrogate are coming here. It's your last opportunity to see your supporters until a new season and a new division, of course. What do you hope to get out of this experience? What purpose? I hate the phrase "dead rubber." Things like what purpose do these games serve apart from obviously fans are paying their money to come and watch it?
I think it's the last home game of the season, and it's for the players to go out as they have done all season and try and get that victory in front of the home supporters and leave the season, in a better way than that finished over the last couple of weeks. To give us some idea that we've got the nucleus of a squad that can go into next season on the front foot.
Can players still change your mind? You said you were going to talk to them maybe early next week. If somebody does something incredible this week, can that change anything?
It's not going to change it, no, because I think you've got to look at that process over the season. And it's important that, you analyse players over the season, not just on one day.
As those decisions won't be made until afterwards, it'll be a last chance for a few players, for maybe more than that, and the fans to see each other for the last time. You don't strike me as an overly sentimental type, but will players get their opportunities to say their goodbyes if they suspect they're going to be leaving?
Yeah, I mean, when you're in a manager's position, then you can't be over sentimental, because I always say when a manager wins the manager of the month, everyone's round about them. When the manager gets a sack, he goes out with his black bag and it's himself. So as a player, I think it's important. It's different because they've been on that pitch for so long this season. And, there is a number of players that have left the building already. I have spoken to them and let them know that they don't have a future. And they have already left us, but there's a number of players here that still, got a future for us next season.
So would it be fair to say that the squad that you picked this weekend will potentially be the ones who have a chance of being the nucleus of that squad next season?
Yeah, we've got 18 players that are left, and these 18 players, have been with us last week and will be with us this week.
Just as far as the actual game is concerned, is it important to end on a high? Can it be any help at all going into a pre-season off the back of a good performance and a good result?
Listen, you want to go in with a win, the last game of the season, but that's not going to change how we prepare for next season. I'm already working towards next season because I've got to have plans, and my plans are there for everyone to see, and I think that come Monday, then we'll be in a position where, in maybe the next day that day we will release a retain list.
And your fans will be here. It's your last game. It's at home. The majority of your supporters will be here. How important is it? I know a lot of players that I've sat and spoke to in this very room have said there feels like a very good connection between us and the supporters. How important is it to recognise that and to pay tribute to those fans?
Well, the supporters have shown their support throughout the season, but not only that, they've shown their support in the last few weeks, because season ticket sales are higher than they were that started last season. So that tells you that we've got a very loyal fan base, and season ticket sales are going really well, and that's people that want to support the football club, and that tells you a lot about Morecambe Football Club in the community.
Were you surprised when you heard that, having been relegated?
Never. Nothing surprises me in football. Nothing surprises me at this football club. I know what this supporter base want, and unfortunately we've gone through some difficult periods, but they're very loyal, they're very humble, and they've got a warmth and generosity that a lot of football clubs can learn from.
Get money for your old